In this video, I will show you exactly how you can get 25% more revenue, more profit out of your overall webinar through a webinar replay promo done the right way. I'm talking about a replay promo that goes 10 days long, okay? Done the right way, basically a combination of a 3-day replay promo and the 7-day replay promo. And I will show you exactly why the juice is worth the squeeze and why this literally helped us generate over $167,000 in revenue from one webinar and $134,000 in cash, okay, or for another webinar, how we've managed to scale this one client through webinars to $135,000 in total revenue, okay? Now look, basically a lot of people leave so much money on the table because they do not understand what webinars actually are. Now, a webinar isn't just a massive pitch. It isn't just an event that optimizes for sales that happen on the event itself. A webinar is actually something like a huge lead magnet, okay? A lead magnet that nurtures your leads, warms them up, gets them on the fence, okay? And then you just need to push them slightly off the fence to get them to take action, okay, and actually buy your offer. And this is why webinar replay promos are so effective because webinars have a very, very strong long-term nurturing effect, okay? This nurturing effect can even last months, okay? When someone attended your webinar, what you can do is you can look at the UTMs, and what we always see is that people who attend webinars close after 1 month, after 5 weeks, after 6 weeks, still because they entered or followed through the webinar and then closed through something like an email or the VSL phone or whatever. So webinar replay promos, especially in the time where the leads are extremely warm through after attending the webinar or after registering, after watching the replay and so on, are massively effective, especially when you tie it to the urgency of the bonuses of a webinar. So with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. So basically, after someone registers for a webinar, right, we then have the presentation, and then obviously we will have leads who no-show to the presentation, and we will have leads who attend. And then out of these attendees, we will have buyers and we will have non-buyers, right? And this is the entire conditional logic that you need to be aware of. So we want to retarget no-shows, for example, with personalized ads, WhatsApp follow-ups, post-webinar setters, and 3 to 7 day replay emails that acknowledge reasons for no-showing. Okay, we want to relate, we want to use something like if this, then that. If you no-showed, then I want to acknowledge the reasons for no-showing in my ads. I want to break down what you've missed. I want to emphasize the pain of inaction, handle objections for no-showing, CTA you to watch the replay. I do not want to drop the offer directly, even though I will do it later in the 7-day replay sequence. And I will emphasize that the replay is generally available for 3 to 4 days, and then include a link to book a call on the replay page, okay? Now, for people who didn't buy, we want to retarget them with different, okay? If someone attended the webinar, but he didn't buy, then I want to target him with different emails, ads, post-webinar dialing setting that acknowledges reasons for not buying, emphasizes the pain of inaction, handles objections, and in this case, introduces massive proof, client wins, breaks down the offer, and CTAs them to watch the replay and book a call. Okay, now if someone didn't buy, it makes no sense to send them again to another checkout link. Okay, we've tested this, by the way. We want to make them commit to a free call first with a sales team, where we then try to close it. So what we've done, because we went with a direct to cart webinar earlier, we then basically try to CTA them to simply go to the checkout page and check out in the replay pro. Didn't work, didn't get any conversions from there. That's why we've seen that overall sending them to sales calls is way more effective, okay? Because you have closers, and you hopefully so use them if you have them available, right? Now, guys, with that being said, here's exactly how we've structured the 3-day replay promo, where we emphasize that the special offer, the discount on the bonuses that we hopefully, and if not, you should watch my offer video first, where I break down exactly how to do this with webinars. You must tie them to the urgency of the replay, right? Basically, 3 days of replay promo, 3 days of special bonuses that are the most valuable components, by the way, and urgency and so on. And then we have the replay on different mechanisms on the page itself, on WhatsApp, on email, via ads, and via manual reach out. So basically, in the replay page, it's pretty simple. You have something like free live training available, and then a timer until the recording and the special bonuses expires. Discover how to build a brand with the help of AI, TikTok, and Amazon. Then we have the full replay over here. We want to cut out the intro, by the way, to instantly start, like the part where we're still getting ready, where people are coming into the room. Cut off, pure value. And then we have the application form for them to be able to apply. Okay, this replay will be live for 3 days, and by the way, long term becomes a sales asset. So let's say 1 month after the webinar, you can take this replay, simply use it in your Hammer Them campaigns for the next webinar, so they already see snippets out of this replay. Or you can simply load it up as a YouTube video and use it in your general sales nurturing process that you then basically have for leads who enter through a VSL funnel or through email or whatever, and they book in a call, and you want to tell them something like, yo, look, this was made, by the way, a replay of a workshop where I broke down everything in depth. Feel free to watch. Massive sales asset, okay? Do not underestimate what a webinar can do with you. Now, then obviously we have a WhatsApp nurturing group where we want to have our group and our DM setters. Our DM setters reach out to leads. So what we generally do is we, in the group, we first of all thank them. Then we apply urgency for the bonuses and the special offer. We promote the replay and put on a bunch of student testimonials and video testimonials. Okay, so they basically, we want to create emotion. All of them took action. People are already posting the bandwagon effect. Okay, there's a massive train passing around. Why aren't you jumping on? As you can see, yesterday was brilliant. Over 700 people live in the room with loads of great questions. Everyone learned the complete 5 pillars system. If you're serious about building a brand, that's generally 90% more valuable than paid courses. If you got value from the masterclass, want to accelerate your journey, we got limited spots. See if you qualify. Dozens of you have already applied, and we work through applications now. Look, we totally get it. If you're still on the fence about whether this is legit, check out our Trustpilot to see what other students have to say. Our program helped XYZ go to build a 7-figure brand. If you want to start building more student wins, this is literally your best. I watch the replay, log in 3 bonus before Saturday night. Thanks so much for all the feedback. For those thinking about it, the replay expires tomorrow night. With it goes down the bonuses, access to a supplier expert, design team, and so on and so on and so on. And then we have another YouTube video for everyone still heading. Can you see how heavy we go on this replay program? And this aren't, by the way, all the messages. I've got still way more in there. I've got even videos. We even get our clients to send selfie videos where they say something like, yo, by the way, thanks a lot for attending the workshop. By the way, we've got a replay, which is live from now for around 3 to 4 days. So if you still are on the fence about joining and you want to lock in the workshop bonuses, or you may miss something on the workshop, okay, then feel free to watch the replay right now. It will be very helpful, and so on and so on, okay? Now, and then we CTA them at the end to DM and something like RDM. I don't know if I've got it in here, maybe. No, but basically a CTA to something like, yo, our DMs, I'm at home. We say something like, yo, I'm chilling at home today. Our DMs are all open after the workshop. I got a bit tired after the workshop, chilling at home today. If you've got any question, anything is unclear about the workshop or the offer, feel free to reach out to us. And then our DM setters are in our DMs that then financially qualify leads, because they will reach out to you if you've got enough members in the WhatsApp group, that ask them about the masterclass, if they attended, what they found valuable, where they still need more information, then try to book in a call. And the same thing on Instagram. On Instagram, we also, I didn't include it here. On Instagram, we want to have a 3-day replay promo sequence, something exact same thing that we just sent in the WhatsApp group, just with some images there and with a ManyChat automation that then basically throws in the word replay. What you want to do is always track the UTM. You want to track something like UTM campaign replay, UTM content, Instagram story, and so on. So you know exactly how many leads actually closed from the replay promo, and you know if you still need to do more or how valuable it actually is for your business, okay? Now, emails, exact same logic. So basically, for the emails, we have a mail list. We have our attendees. Mail list only if it's a warm webinar and you want to include the mail list. This is not always needed. Then we have our people who attend, people who no-show. And we want to basically write the emails based on their level of awareness, because obviously people who were in the main list could be unaware, they could be problem aware, solution aware, product aware. People who have attended generally are already product aware, or maybe they haven't even they didn't even stay until the end, so they might be solution aware. And people who no showed, again, probably aren't product aware. They might be, but there is generally something like problem aware. Okay, so we want to tailor our messaging to these different groups. As you can see over here, mail list promo, we've got 3 different emails, 1 day after, 2 days after, 3 days after. Hey, yesterday's masterclass is done. Some of you showed up, some of you missed it. Okay, exactly, because this is the place, and this is what's happening in the mail list. Right now, there's a split happening. One group is taking what they learned, actually starting, and the other one is continuing to consume information, and so on and so on. If you missed it, we're releasing the full replay here, and so on. Then the next email, couldn't sleep, got a message from Tom. Tom watched the masterclass. We just turned his lights on, and so on. If you haven't watched it yet, watch the replay. And then, hey, the masterclass, the bonuses expire tonight. See what our students say on Trustpilot, and then application link. This is where I'm actually dropping the link. Okay, you don't want to be too pushy. You want to emphasize providing value. Keep in mind that you will run webinars in the future to this main list, so don't burn this main list too much, and emphasize the cost of inaction. Frame the webinar as a free 2-hour training rather than a pitch. Okay, now then we have the no-shows. For the no-shows, you want to frame the replay as a gift, something you haven't planned. You can go hard on reciprocity. Oh, you no-showed, no worries. Things happen. Here's the replay. Give them a second chance. Emphasize the cost of inaction. So as you can see, he didn't show up. I get it. Life happens, but here's what matters now. Basically, everything here's what we've done. Normally, I'd say too bad. You snooze, you lose. But think about a lot of people registered, couldn't show up. So here's the replay. Expires in 3 days with the bonuses. Watched now. 2 days after the replay, another one pretty similar to the main list email. And then over here, actually. Yeah, this is where I should have included way more, like pitched the offer way more, but basically over here we dropped the application link. And for the attendees, they instantly get an email. Hope you got massive value from the masterclass. What was brilliant having you there. Here's what's included. And then they get all the main offers, all the deliverables. These bonuses are only available to tonight's attendees. And then what we do in the first email is drop the application, because these leads attended, they are warmed up. Obviously, they know about the offer. Most of them do, at least. Because obviously not everyone will stay until the end. We drop the link to apply. And then another one the next morning would then include the replay and the application. And the last email, full application. Bonuses expire tonight, and so on. We want to go hard on the urgency, focus on selling the application rather than the replay, and be very explicit about the offer. This is where we want to drop details and so on. And then obviously we have something like ads. As I said, we have these ads where we want to target no-shows and also attendees. I generally like to go mainly with these book a call ads, like people who didn't buy. And then I like to put these 2 ones into a bucket and target both of them with these ads. Now, obviously, because I assume that basically people who no-showed already got targeted by our emails and maybe watch the replay or so on. But basically what I want to do with the book of call ads is I want to add ads like this, something like, if you're seeing this ad, you watch the masterclass, but for either reason, God's green, or if you didn't book a call. Now, look, I get it, mate. This I 7 years ago wouldn't have taken action. You're probably burned by online. You're scared to make your first step and commit to go. Starting to pursue a dream with your whole family, thinks you're crazy, your partner thinks you do, blah, blah, blah. Believe me, that's exactly where I started. It's probably fear of a bit of doubt that's keeping you stuck. And honestly, you don't have to quit your 9 to 5 to make this happen. We've built for people like you to give you the fastest, easiest, and safest way to build a successful e-commerce brand. We've put 6 years of e-commerce building a $1 billion brand into a single program. Without starting calling, it's probably the best shot you get at starting your e-commerce business. So here's what you get. Book this ready to call, because worst case, you'll come away from the call with more information to see if there's actually something you want to pursue. Pretty cool ad, right? It relates with the pain. Over here, we've got, so you're still scrolling through online business content after attending a masterclass where we shared our step-by-step brand building system and direct instructions. Honestly, I get it. Taking action can be challenging, but what's the cost of inaction? The cost of not changing anything about your current situation. If you're in a similar situation, the cost is higher than my bank account. Not taking action means working for the rest of your life. But blah, 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 when last Monday morning, not taking action means living a life below your potential. Not taking action means being okay with being average, asking boss. I'm not trying to sell you the, but this would have been my reality if I wouldn't have started, okay? And then we tag them exactly what they will get if they join. And we've got another objection crosser. Fair enough, let me explain all of those 3 objections. I don't have experience. I don't know what we had over here. I'm not a marketer, I've been burned by far, and so on and so on. And then we retarget attendees who didn't book a call. We upload, basically what we do is we upload a CSV of all the attendees. We extract it out of webinar gem, upload this, create a custom audience, and then basically run a schedule a campaign that's optimized for the scheduler one, the lead campaign, to this certain pocket audience. And we want to handle objections to relatability, cost of inaction, risk of growth, student proof. What you can also run is basically you can then run student testimonial ads to this leads. You can run snippets of the webinar to these leads, snippets of the pitch, for example, snippets where you handle objections with a student on the webinar, for example, and or the FAQ section. You can run the entire FAQ section as a header element. So much stuff to do over here. You then generally want to have something like 20 to 30 different book call ads, student testimonials. You can even run screenshots as ads, so Trustpilot screenshots, for example, for these guys. And yeah. And then another thing that you want to do is manual follow-up. So qualified leads, we want to, first of all, go after qualified leads who didn't book a call. Okay. Now, then our DM setter, as I said, is on WhatsApp and on Instagram and tries to book them in. So when we do our application, what we have is something like a partial submit point. So we can see their budget, if they have answered the budget question, and we can see their contact data. But for any reason, a lot of people drop off just right before booking call because they don't want to commit. Maybe they don't have time. So the first thing that our setters will do is follow up with these qualified leads where they can see, okay, they scheduled, they fill out the application, but they didn't book a call. And then we want to have smart views in our CRM for these application book calls, so they can go after them and DQ people who lied about their income to free the calendar, because after a webinar, especially also in the replay promo, what happens is that you will have a lot of leads on your calendars, and you only want leads who have the highest intent and the highest budget to be on the first base of your closest calendars. So you setters need to dial everyone who's booked a call and make sure they actually have a high intent and have volume to invest, money to invest. And then they want to follow up with attendees in general. So what's actually perfect is you can even get an AI dialer to dial up all the attendees and ask them about the workshop. Probably isn't the best thing. What we do right now is we have an AI dialer for everyone who registered to increase our show up rate. This is still okay, but obviously for dialing attendees, you will have to have you want to book them on a call, right? So these are the most warm leads over here. So you want to have a human dialer who dials them and tries to book them in. And so on. And then obviously we want to have booked calls presetting. So we want to cancel or reschedule calls if they are good. We want our closers to manually reach out with selfie videos and establish direct contact to follow up with no-shows and so on. So basically the best sales call practices that should be quite self-explanatory in any sales team. So as you can see, we've got a replay here on the website. We've got a WhatsApp promo, we've got an email promo, we've got a Facebook ads promo, and our setters are reaching out manually as well. And this is one of the most important steps, by the way, human contact. Now, then what happens is a lot of people stop you. Now, this is already, if you have this 3 days of promo, you're already ahead of 99% of the info space who aren't running this. But you can even go a step further. And as I said, these webinars have an ongoing nurturing effect of months, okay, of literally months. You shouldn't underestimate it. So what you can do is you can do 7 days of replay promo, right, with something like a 7-day free email course. So after the webinar, what we guys do is we transition all the leads, okay, all the leads who registered to the free 7-day email course. Something like, okay, it wasn't the right time for a call. In our last webinar email, we say something like, okay, it wasn't the right time for a call right now, and they get it. But because you registered for the workshop, and I really appreciate you registering for the workshop, so I want to reward you with 7 days of free value about a certain topic, which could be something like suppliers, for example, or product. You can opt out at any time. This is literally just 7 days of pure value to help you be prepared as well as possible and have as much valuable information as possible. And then each of these emails, we then want to deliver massive value about a certain topic, which is, for example, product research. So email number 1 could talk about how to find these products, what a product is, how the math behind product works, how to scale products, how to use the right software to find these products, and so on. And then we always want to include a small pitch to the replay, not to the replays, probably to the VSL form, which we also should have on page, or directly to the currently page at the end. And the last email there is pure objection handling. So in the last email of the seventh one, we then again want to relay to the webinar, all right, the webinar was 10 days ago, so on. And now you've received pure massive way, 7 days of massive way. This is reciprocity, by the way. They're getting something for free from us, and it must be valuable. So really write good emails. Okay, do not do AI slop. If this is AI slop, you can forget this entire email course. But if this actually contains valuable information, stuff they can implement right now, ideally probably even stuff like SOPs that you give away for free. You can even go a step further, give away free lead magnets in this course. They're actually valuable. You will foster reciprocity in them, their goodwill with you, and they would actually take action. And especially with the last, where you just handle objections, and we really go hard on pitching. The last one is just a pure pitch. And and then you're basically done with the entire replay promo. So around 10 days of overall replay promo, 7 days here, 3 days here, and then 7 days here. Yeah. Now that's exactly how you can get 25% to even 30% more profit out of your entire webinar campaign through this simple replay promos. And once they are in place, you can simply automate them, get the VA to automate them, and run them for every single webinar, and they're free cash, and they're exactly how we've generated over $167,000 with one single campaign, because we had all this replay in place and a significant amount of the revenue, maybe something like this, okay? Maybe a bit more, came from our replay promo. Now, with that being said, guys, if you want us to implement this entire webinar funnel for you, so not only the replay promo, but actually the webinar, the front end promo, which is also one of the most important ones, the show up system, traffic acquisition system, the entire ad setup, then feel free to reach out to me on growinginfo.com, or where you can book a free strategy call, or write me on Instagram. It's simon.asman, okay? And if you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe, okay, and leave me a like, because we're just going to talk about topics like this, about how to scale your coaching or high ticket business through the right systems. Now, with that being said, guys, take care.